Is Mercado Libre losing market share to C Limited in Latin America? Let's find out in today's episode. Yesterday, I posted a video on 4 stocks I'm looking to buy this week. One of those stocks was Mercado Libre, the Latin America e-commerce giant. And while I was doing quick research on Mercado Libre, I was also taking a look at how daily downloads were happening in Latin America, mainly focused in the shopping category. Here we can see yesterday on June 26th of 2021, in country Brazil, Shop was the #1 downloaded app. This is pretty impressive, right? And after I started seeing this, I was like, okay, I have to find out what's really happening. In Chile, it was #1 yesterday. In Colombia, it was #2. In Mexico, it was also #2. So right now we can see that C Limited is very popular in daily downloads right now. That doesn't necessarily mean it's taking heavy market share or is becoming a better e-commerce marketplace than Mercado Libre, because we know Mercado Libre is a giant there, but it could be a forewarning. So some of the topics we're going to take a look at today is: what is Shopee doing in Brazil? Why is it in Brazil and Latin America? How does it acquire its customers? How does it compare to Mercado Libre? What are some of its biggest obstacles, if it has any? And at the end, I'm also going to share my thoughts. So Shopee, pretty much an e-commerce marketplace. You can go on their app, buy items. You can also sell items there to make money. And Brazil, just like many other countries, especially in Latin America, got hit pretty hard with COVID. A lot of these marketplaces kind of closed down and they had to sell their goods in other matters. So they started selling online. So Shopee is in Brazil because they see huge potential, especially after 2020. Latin America was the fastest growing e-commerce market worldwide. We can see it came in at 36.7%. North America came in at 31.8%. Within Latin America, the biggest leader there was Brazil. Brazil makes up roughly, I want to say roughly 40% of the total Latin America market. Next comes Mexico, and next comes Argentina. So obviously it makes sense that the first place they really try to expand in is the biggest market, and that would be Brazil. Make sure to hit the thumbs up, the subscribe button, and let me know in the comments below, do you prefer Mercado Libre or C Limited? Let's take a quick listen to today's sponsor, a great reason why I'm able to provide so much content to you guys for free. And don't forget to sign up to the weekly newsletter that is starting soon. The link should be down below. I want to thank the Motley for sponsoring this video. The Motley is a company that provides investing insight and stock recommendations for investors of all skill sets and risk levels. You guys know I love finding new investing tools and resources to help me scout out new growth stocks. And right now I have a discount for one of my favorite services the Fool offers. Through the Motley Fool Stock Advisor services, you get access to a ton of expert stock picks. Every month you'll get 2 new picks that are aimed at growing your wealth and to help you realize your financial goals. Stock Advisor's average stock picks have done amazing returns. If growing your money is something you like to do more of this year, you can visit fool.com/Jose Najarro or click on the link below for access to my special offer and decide if the stock advisor is right for you. Thanks again to the Motley Fool, and now onto today's video. If we take a look at the GDP for Brazil, it's ranked number 13 for 2021. So we can see not only is it a big e-commerce marketplace, it's overall just a huge market. So we figured out why C Limited is in Latin America and why it's focusing in Brazil first. Now I want to take a look at how it's acquiring those users to download its app. This is a Southeast Asia company, and I want to say it's probably pretty difficult for a company in the other side of the world to start expanding in Latin America. And I want to say this is probably my favorite thing about C Limited, and it's their Garena platform. This is their gaming platform, pretty much mainly known for the Free Fire game. And Free Fire, I want to say this allows the company to expand into different countries with very little cost. We can see in top apps on Google Play in Brazil for June 26th, the #1 grossing app was Garena. And if we take a look at Argentina, Mexico, Chile, Colombia, and even Ecuador, Garena was the #1 grossing app yesterday. So this shows me that there is huge popularity for the Free Fire game. And this is how they have kind of pushed Shopee to be one of the top downloaded apps in the shopping category. So Garena, right? Who are the people mainly playing mobile games? The younger audience base, who are probably the biggest customers of online shopping. the younger base as well. So now that Garena has built such a huge customer base and a customer loyalty, C Limited can push advertisements and push users to go to its Shopee applications. Another thing that they do is they can kind of give free in-game items if you download the Shopee app. And this is a tactic they've kind of done in Southeast Asia. And I do believe it's working really, really well. This is probably pretty cheap advertisement, and it really does build a huge user base on the type of age demographics that they need. And we can see Shopee just recently launched in Chile and Colombia on June 9th of 2021. There was an article that social media pages for Shopee Colombia and Shopee Chile were just recently created, and it had just recently launched in Mexico in February. And we already saw all those countries. Garena was the #1 grossing game yesterday, and Shopee was in the top 5 downloaded for yesterday as well within those countries. So we can definitely see the expansion in Latin America. And if you guys want to do a little more research on your own, I definitely want to say go to Shopee Brazil. They have a YouTube page, and you can kind of see some of the videos that they have. Most of them are very low views. You can tell which ones are advertisements. For example, this one was 4 weeks ago and had 11 million views. That was pretty much an ad. Even without they talk Portuguese, not a native tongue for me. Because of Spanish, I can kind of understand, but YouTube has subtitles and English translations. So you can really much see what they offer. You can see they are trying to push a lot of free shipping, a lot of coupon codes to kind of acquire more customers as well. All right, so now I want to see how does Shopee kind of stand with Mercado Libre. This is an article from 4 months ago. I definitely recommend taking a look at it if you guys want to read more. I just want to take a look at some of the highlights. Less than a year ago, Shopee Brazil expanded to 250 employees. This startup recruited many employees of rival Mercado Libre. I'm pretty sure they gave some hefty payments to bring some of those people over. Staffing has been steadily increasing in the past year or so, but it's still a very modest size in compared to Mercado Libre. Last year, business reports showed that growth of Shopee in Brazil mainly came from acquisitions and mergers. A lot of the customer acquisitions have been through incentives such as vouchers, discount codes, reduced delivery fees, and even in-game items for Garena. In January of 2021, Shopee had the higher number of active users than other international competitors according to SimilarWeb data. But compared to Mercado Libre, Shopee's distance is still quite far. So we can see Shopee is definitely a competitor against the other international companies, but it doesn't seem to be a main player against Mercado Libre right now. Mercado Libre alone took about a quarter of the market last year in the e-commerce sales. Here in the United States, I believe the biggest e-commerce giant takes roughly the same amount as well, maybe a little bit more. So we can see Mercado Libre is kind of like the e-commerce giant here in the United States. Some things about Mercado Libre, they do offer more than just a market platform, right? They do other types of digital payments, they do credit services, and they have a very strong logistics market. And I do believe this brings me to the next point, the biggest obstacle that C Limited has. To me, this is how I actually ended up in this article. I wanted to find out how is C Limited kind of shipping all its product, how is it doing the delivery process? Because in Latin America and Brazil, the overall, from personal experience in my country, the overall shipping is not as strong as it is here in United States or some other countries like Canada and stuff like that. So that's definitely a huge obstacle. So how did Mercado Libre do that? They kind of created their own logistics platform. Most of the shipping going out for Mercado Libre are being done through its logistics services. Shopee, on the other hand, it tends to have higher costs than competitors in the market because it mainly uses state-owned couriers. So logistically, they don't have a true platform to go. I do believe if they start seeing growth here, that's going to be a market they're going to continue to expand, and they might start building a lot more distribution centers. They might start building more logistics services as well. But at the moment, Mercado Libre not only guarantees one-day delivery, but like I mentioned, 80% of all orders are processed using its own logistics network. I think this logistic nightmare can be a huge obstacle for Shopee. The other thing is Shopee is an international country, right? C Limited is an international company, and a lot of countries do give perks. So I would believe that a lot of these Latin American countries will give a little bit better incentives to companies like Mercado Libre opposed to companies like C Limited. So I believe those are two of the major obstacles Shopee has to overcome. But one of the great things in 2020, the e-commerce adoption rate in Brazil will only reach 5%. That means there's a huge growth market in Brazil. I do believe because C Limited has that gaming platform, it allows them to have super positive cash flow from operations, and then allows them to heavily invest. So all that money that they could be making from their gaming platform, Free Fire, they are going to be using it. They could be using it to grow those distributions, those logistics centers in Latin America, and that can push it to be more of a competitor later on. I do want to say right now it is a bit in the early stages. Now I want to share my overall thoughts. If you take a look at my portfolio, and here's my portfolio size right now, I am going to just be posting it daily so you guys can kind of track how I'm doing as well. Right now, C Limited is one of my biggest positions. It is roughly, I want to say 7-8% of my portfolio. Mercado Libre is a small position, about 1%. But this is because I am mainly a gaming investor, and because I am a gaming investor, I like C Limited a lot better. Just because of that cash flow that they can do, they can really push for future growth investments. But if I was an e-commerce investor, I believe the situations would be different. If I was just a plain e-commerce investor, I think both of them would kind of have a very equal weight size. And the best question is probably not which is a better buy, but why not have both in your portfolio? There's nothing stopping an investor from having both Mercado Libre and C Limited in the portfolio. I'm doing it, and not gonna lie, after looking at this, I think I wanna go a little heavier on Mercado Libre. Even though the stock price has kind of gone up a bit, I do believe it's gonna be a winner in the long term of things.